I'm going for a business meeting. I have to present. But how can I make an effective presentation? I'm going to present before my boss. How can I make a presentation where people appreciates me? I'm an introvert. How can I make the presentation effective so that people will appreciate my efforts? This is the thing a lot of people face. Even I'm also the one who used to have this kind of questions. I even feel that if I give a presentation, people should actually come to me and ask, it's a good presentation and they even want to learn. Hello, I am Santhosh Nimmani, India's first proud introverts career mentor. I'm a TEDx speaker and author of a book, Rise of the Proud Introverts. If you really like my videos, do subscribe and hit the bell icon for more videos related to introversion, motivation and career development. In this video, we are going to talk about the effective presentation with 5 simple tips. Tip 1. Start with a bang. A lot of people actually think about what to start with, and the starting makes a larger impact. So remember, if you start the presentation with a bang, what can be the bang? It can be questions, it can be some property, or it can be some exercise, so that people will be focusing on the questions, the exercises or the props. In the meantime, you can prepare yourself on the stage, which makes you feel comfortable for the first 5-10 minutes. If your presentation is for 10 minutes, make sure your first 30 seconds to 1 minute make some interesting aspect. It can be a quotation, it can be an interesting fact, it can be questions, it can be some property, some other interaction which makes people's attention, which actually grabs the attention of people, which will be helpful for you as well. Tip number 2. Use visual aid. What does this mean? Using visual aid, it can be a property. For example, sell me this pen. Ask this question to the people around you or the audience, which makes your life more easy. This actually also involves like the properties. You can use a property according to your topic. If you're talking about motivation, you can use a jar and ask them to fill that with balls or something. There is an exercise for that as well. So in the same way, there are some visual aids which actually help you to make it more interesting. So visual aids actually help you to make sure people grab the attention. And apart from that, it actually creates an interesting aspect from the audience side. Tip number 3. Engaging with audience. So if you have 5 points with you, make sure for every second point or every third point or maybe for every point, ask them to repeat or ask them some interesting questions or make sure they do some exercises. So which will make sure the audience will be interacting with you, and actually it creates an energy in the audience. So don't forget, for every point, for example, let us take an example of 5 points presentation. Have a topic to give about interview preparation. You have 5 points to talk about. The first point, you give an explanation, give an example, tell a story, and then ask them to repeat that particular point so that it can create an engagement. Or ask 3 to 4 questions. Ask them to write it down on a paper and pen. It creates an engagement. So in this way, if you can engage the audience with repetitive statements or with some questions or with some exercises, that can also impact a lot. Tip number 4. Emphasize key takeaways. By the end of the presentation, make sure you have all the pointers whatever covered in the first few minutes, because people tend to be forgetting about what the presentation is all about. So always make sure for every specific aspect, make sure you repeat the points. It can be some takeaways or the conclusion, whatever. So make sure you have the pointers at the last and repeat the statements again and again so that it will be registered in their mind. If possible, make them to write it so that it will be registered in their mind as well. 5th, most important, is rehearsals or practice. So make sure you practice all these specific things with a structure and make sure you practice it as much as possible. And practice with some support. It can be your friends, it can be your well-wishers. Ask them to sit before you and ask them to make sure you have done the same pattern again and again. So if you're an introvert basically, if you are a person who never want to speak before the public, or you are very less talkative, but still your preparation can make a big bang in any meeting. So don't forget to rehearse, to make a big opening, and make sure you interact with the audience and use visual aids. That's it for this video. If you believe that I have added some value in your life, do subscribe and hit the bell icon for more videos, and share it to someone so that they can also get some benefit out of this particular video. Thank you.